What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is John and this is John Paul Investing. Today's video is going to be a follow-up on two of yesterday's videos. One for the stock technicals in Nano Dimension, and the second one being the video about the shareholder meeting from the notice that we just got later on yesterday. A lot of you guys wanted to know about some pros and cons from the share capital raise that they would like to do, which they say is in the best interest of us shareholders in Nano Dimension. So pretty much all I did was I got a notepad and I started typing out pros and cons that I see with the new share issuance if this does get approved, which I have a feeling it is like more than likely going to get approved. It would be very difficult to stop this considering what we read on the document yesterday. If you haven't already seen that, I'll put a link somewhere up top so you guys can see that. But basically, just to summarize, if not enough people show up, it's gonna pretty much automatically be a yes vote for the issuance of new stock. But again, it is very likely that it will go through and there will be issuance of new stock in Nano Dimension, and it is likely that this common stock will be issued at much higher prices in offering to institutional investors, which I believe is a good thing, but I won't go into detail just yet. I've already made a list of that for you guys, of the pros and cons, which I'll talk to you about right now. But before I get started, guys, if you like watching videos like this, please go ahead and hit that like button. It helps the channel a whole lot and it shows your support. And go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. This way you get notified when I make videos just like this one. Guys, we are so close to 10,000 subscribers, and I know we can get there in no time with your help. I have also opened up 3 new positions this week in 3 different companies, so if you guys would like to know exactly what I'm buying and selling, I highly recommend you guys check out the Patreon group. This is where you get access to a private Discord where you can talk to me and other investors like myself who are invested in very similar stocks. And last but certainly not least, there is a chance to get free money right now using the WeBull link in the description. All you have to do is open an account, deposit $100, and once the funds settle, you'll get 4 free stocks, which you can then sell and then do whatever you want with the money. Essentially, this is the most risk-free play here, guys, so if you guys are looking to get free stocks, I highly recommend you check out the other link also. Okay, so first I'm going to go over the stock technicals for Nano Dimension. Honestly, I don't like to flood my charts with a lot of technical indicators. I personally like to keep my stock charts simple because, in my opinion, price is king, and where I believe support and resistance matters the most is horizontal support and resistance, which is essentially what the price is going to be. So in my video yesterday, I did mention that we were going to see a move downward to, I believe, somewhere close to $13. Considering this huge downward move down to around $13 and 21 cents, I think that the stock price in Nano Dimension is going to creep its way down towards these levels. And I also mentioned the fact that the markets are going to make it very difficult for new investors to hold on to their Nano Dimension stock. And you have to understand, with small market cap stocks, it is very easy to move price around in these companies. All it would take is a few buys or sells from, you know, big institutions that do want to manipulate price and to get it cheaper. But overall, the trend is now kind of pointing on the downside, so I would not be surprised to see this stock fall for at least the rest of the week, or maybe going into next week. Now, there is a chance that we did find new support around $16, so also be on the lookout for that if we do decide to consolidate in this range, but still, I don't see this breaking out on the upside just yet. Now, as far as the share issuance that Nano Dimension would like for us to vote yes on, the first pro is, with more money, they have more chance to monopolize the space of 3D printing of electronics. So if they can get, you know, another $1 billion, let's say, all this does is give them more opportunities for more companies to acquire, more research and development, and essentially they're going to be in a much safer position to withstand any effects of, let's say, CV-19, or if for any reason there's like another shutdown or some crazy thing like that. They're going to have a lot of money to sit on, okay? More money, more opportunities. More money, more opportunities. It's not like they don't really have a product and then they're sitting on $1 billion. Essentially, they are looking to revolutionize the manufacturing of printed electronics and probably anything involved in the industry of the Internet of Things, and a variety of other industries. So I guess I'm a little biased here if you want to call it that, but essentially more money, more options in a blanket of industries. The second pro that I thought of is more institutional investors would have the opportunity to get into Nano Dimension. And institutional investors do a lot of research before they decide to invest in a company, because they're not playing with, you know, $5 or $10 or $20,000. They are playing with tens to hundreds of millions of dollars at any given point in time. And the thing with having institutional hands in Nano Dimension, this would essentially, I wouldn't say flatline it, but it would reduce volatility in Nano Dimension over the long term, because more money would pile into Nano Dimension. And this is not really speculative money, guys. This is coming from big institutions who are managing, you know, clients' money. They have a fiduciary responsibility for their clients. So we might see some sells here and there, but overall, if they're investing big money into this company, it's because they see a lot of potential. And the third reason that I think is a pro for Nano Dimension is the fact that with more money, they have more availability for research and development, and they really wouldn't have to worry about cash burn during this process just because now they have so much money that they're sitting on. I don't remember exactly which interview it was. I believe it was the one on TD Ameritrade, or maybe it was the last Red Chip one. It was one of those two interviews where Yoav Stern mentioned that with the money they have right now, it would already be enough for maybe one acquisition. They would have enough for research and development, and then they would have enough money left over to survive for the next, 5 to 10 years. And that's just with $1 billion, guys. So who knows what possibilities they'll have if they were to double up on that. Again, guys, more cash equals more safety. Now, as far as the cons go, I came up with 3, and some of these aren't really inherently going to affect the company. This is just what I feel is going to affect the retail market, and some other things. Let me just talk about them right now. The first one is that we will not experience any market cap gains in the stock if we do issue these to new institutional investors. So as we've seen with the previous direct offerings, Nano Dimension was around a $50 or $60 million stock market cap whenever we started talking about them in late September, early October. And now they're sitting at, close to $2 billion in market cap. And let's say that no more shares were issued in Nano Dimension over this period of time. Considering the market cap that they're at right now at around $2 billion and the 50 million shares they had outstanding before all of the registered direct offerings, guys, we would be at around a $40 Nano Dimension stock. Now, the problem I see with this is the fact that there's a chance that with retail traders, again, it's very speculative in nature. So we would have seen much more volatility in the process to get to $40. Not as many institutional investors means there's not as much, long-term mentality surrounding the stock. So overall, if they do decide to issue more shares, again, we won't experience any of these gains. So if we were to double up again, let's say to around a $4 billion valuation, this would have put Nano Dimension stock at around, $80. But chances are at a $4 billion valuation, we're probably going to be at a $25 or $30 Nano Dimension stock. Now, con number 2 is the fact that if they do have so much cash, let's say if they doubled up to $2 billion, having this much cash could be a problem if they don't really have a plan for it. We already know that the Treasury is printing money like crazy right now. So essentially, if they have so much cash on the balance sheet, it's going to be diminishing in value over time if they just leave it sitting. Let's look at MicroStrategy, for example. They took a really bold move. They were sitting on around $550 million on their balance sheet. Michael Saylor decided that this cash stack was essentially a melting ice cube, as he said. He ended up investing the company's treasury, about 90% of it, into Bitcoin to preserve its purchasing power. So in that regard to Nano Dimension, I'm not saying they should buy, 90% Bitcoin. That's not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they need to have a plan for that money, because if they just leave it there, it's not going to do them any good. Right now, we do have an idea of their plan to acquire a new company, spend on R&D, and essentially just have cash to weather any negative effects of, let's say, a second shutdown, or if there's just another downwards market cycle. I mean, no one knows exactly what's going to happen, but at least with cash, you kind of have a moat. Now, the third con is the fact that if we do see more shares issued, there's a chance that there's going to be a lot of FUD, which is fear, uncertainty, and doubt in Nano Dimension. And this is going to affect primarily, I believe, retail investors, because the second this happens, as we've seen in previous videos and in comments, I feel like there's going to be a ton of news articles on, like Yahoo Finance, Bloomberg, things like that, where they start to spread negative news about things like this. And this news spreads like wildfire, and for new investors specifically, they might not know how to take this, and they'll immediately take it as negative news and potentially short the stock, or they'll sell their stock right now. Maybe they'll YOLO some puts, who knows. But in my case, I'm thinking that if they do issue this, we will see a lot of negative connotation surrounding Nano Dimension stock, even more so than before. I wanted to mention one more time the addition of Dr. Eli David to the board of directors in Nano Dimension. So I don't remember exactly who said this comment or where it is exactly, but I believe it was on my video about the notice of shareholder meetings yesterday that I posted. Someone mentioned Dr. Eli David and the fact that he could bring a bigger picture to Nano Dimension's production capabilities in their machines later on, especially with the use of artificial intelligence. Essentially, with the press release, we kind of had a glimpse into what they're trying to do right now with his addition to the board. And essentially, his knowledge in AI could potentially make it to where we have a... so instead of having just one machine, just imagine a variety of machines working together to produce similar products that you could assemble in one piece. Or it could be that there could be multiple machines that are prototyping a similar product, and it'll just detect which one is the best prototype of them all. Things like this are possible with artificial intelligence. intelligence, and I think it is a really big deal that no one's really factoring into the price of Nano Dimension right now. With artificial intelligence, the potential for Nano Dimension just went up by a factor of 10. I think this is going to be huge for the company in the next, few years as they start to roll out their products into a lot of factories. Again, the big slowdown right now is CV19, but I don't believe this is going to last forever. There's just no way it's going to be around for the next, 5-10 years. So right now, guys, this is just a game of patience. I already mentioned the pros and cons of this additional possible cash raising. Just because they're offering a total of 500 million shares does not mean they will issue all of them. This is just the cap that they're proposing, and this is something that I don't see is a bad thing for the company. Let me know what you guys think about the pros and cons of this potential cash raising. So just to standardize the comments a little bit on this video, you could just give me your best pro and your best con for this future cash raising. But anyways, guys, that is it for this video. If you liked what you're watching, please go ahead and hit that like button. And while you're down there, go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the bell notification to get notified when I make videos just like this one. That's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.